Hey everybody, welcome to another Moarhammer battle report. I've got another 40k one for you, 2,000 points, my Traitor Guard against an Ork player. And it's a pretty good one, very brutal, but not very cunning. So I'll just jump straight into it. So here is my list. I've got a company command squad, the Carabsarmer, Bolt Gun, Melter Bombs, Laurels of Command, 4 veterans with the las guns, then advisors, Astropath, Master of Ordnance and the Officer of the Fleet. I have 2 Primaris Psychers, a Ministorum Priest, a Commissar with a Power Axe, a Militarum Tempestus platoon, 1 unit of 10 Tempestus Scions, 2 Melter Guns, and then Tempestus a Power Fist and a Plasma Pistol. Then I've got another unit of 5 Scions, with a Tempestus with a Power Sword and 2 Hotshot Volley Guns. Then I have an Infantry platoon, the Platoon Commander has a Plasma Pistol and Melter Bombs, then 4 Guardsmen with grenade launchers, then 3 Infantry squads, each with a missile launcher, and 26 conscripts. Then I have a unit of veterans, they're demolitions, with 3 grenade launchers, the sergeant has a power fist and a bolt gun. Then I have a Valkyrie with multiple rocket pods, a multi-laser and heavy bolters, a Leman Russ Executioner with plasma cannon sponsons, a hull heavy bolter and a heavy stubber. Then I have 2 Leman Russ Vanquishers, both with multi-melter sponsons, hull las cannons and storm bolters. And then I have a Deathstrike Missile launcher with heavy flamer and fire barrels. So here's a picture of deployment. And so on my side, starting on the left-hand side there, in that little building, I've got a unit of veterans. My unit of veterans in the top. Underneath is the platoon command squad. To the right there, and I've got the big blob of conscripts with the priest in them. Then my Leman Russ Executioner. Then in that building is my 30 guardsmen, all in one blob with the 3 rocket launchers. Lord Commissar and one of the Primaris Psychers attached to that. Then I've got, behind them is the company command squad with all the advisors and the other Primaris Psycho attached to them. Then I've got my Deathstrike Missile launcher, obviously, and then to the right of the building, my 2 Leman Russ Vanquishers. Then in that building on the right-hand side, where that little long pipe is, I've got my unit of 5 Tempestus Scions with the Hotshot Volley Guns. Then in reserve, my Valkyrie and the bigger unit of Scions in that. So here's his deployments. On the left-hand side there, you've got a unit of 20 Ork boys, or Slugger boys. Then next to them, is in the yellow, is a unit of Shooter boys. Then behind the central building there, the fortress building, is the battle wagon, loaded with his war boss and a unit of 20 Ard boys. Then to the right of that, you've got a unit of 5 Killer Cans. I think they all had Grotzukas. Then behind that's a Death Dread. And then in the building to the right is a unit of, I think it's 18 Tank Busters, something like that, with Knob and a couple of Bomb Squigs. And then on the far right-hand side there, you've got a truck armed with Mega Knobs and a big mech in Mega Armor. So I deployed first, unfortunately got to go first. He did not seize the initiative, so I start moving. One of the objectives I got was objective marker 3, I think, which is in the centre on the kind of left-hand side there. So I move my veterans out of the building towards that. I'm going to just try and take it. I know it's kind of risky, but it'll be nice to get that one. I've also got the take 3 objectives for D3 victory points, so hopefully I can get that one next turn. I also move my Vanquishers over so I can get a better shot of the Killer Cans without too much cover in the way. But obviously that's about it. I also move my conscripts forward a little bit, but not too much. In the Psychic phase, I cast Forewarning on these guys. If they're running out in front, I kind of want to make sure they're reasonably well protected, so this is going to give them an extra boost. And I also cast Prescience on my Leman Russ Executioner, because who wants it getting hot even. In the shooting phase, my missile launchers from the guys in the building, with the help of the Ignores Cover order, plink a hull point off one of the Killer Cans. Then my Vanquishers open up, blow one to smithereens, and take a hull point off another. That's pretty nice. Then my Executioner opens up, and thanks to Prescience, I managed to kill 15 of the unit. Obliterate these guys to a massive burning husk in the ground. So pretty happy about that. And then, oh Jesus, I put my Master of Ordnance shell on top of the Killer Cans, because I figured that had the best chance of scattering. It ended up scattering like this. Right on top of the battle wagon, and killed it. Oh god, it was so brilliant. I did have very, very good luck there. Obviously, it penetrated, and I rolled a 6. Nothing he could do. Killed 4 of the Orks inside, and then he deployed out like this. So really, really great shot. Brilliant first turn. And he's kind of on the back foot from there a little bit, so that's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, we jump. That's the last thing I had to do, so we jump straight to his turn, and everything piles forward. That's pretty much what it is. His killer cans and everything tries to stay quite well in cover, just so he doesn't get shot too much. His tank busters move into range of the vanquishers. His truck, you can't see in the picture, it turbos all the way around, so it's almost parallel to the scions in the building there. And then his shooter boys come out, so they can take some shots at the veterans. So yeah, there you go. In the shooting phase, he shoots his tank busters at the vanquishers and does manage to kill one, but not too fussed about that. Then over here, all his shooter boys and some heavy weapons or some assault weapons shoot at the veterans, killing 5 of them. The forewarning really helped here. I ended up saving a bunch of them on the 4-up, and he wouldn't have got them against big shooters or anything, so that was excellent. And there was no charging from him. The rest of his shooting's out of range, so we go into my turn 2, and mine arrives. The Valkyrie flies on over to here. The idea is that I'm going to, this turn, blow the shit out of the shooter boys with my Valkyrie. Next turn he comes forward, and I'm going to jump out my scions, and hopefully be able to take the rest of the killer cans out with my melter guns and plasma pistols. That's the plan. So I'll move everything else around. I'll move my scions towards the truck that flanked on the right-hand side. My Vanquisher, the remaining Vanquisher, moves backwards. My conscripts start charging forward. Hopefully I can use them to tie up the war boss's units for a little while I need to. I also run the Vanquishers, the veterans, forward to claim that objective. I was within 3 inches after this move, and that's perfect. In my psychic phase, I'm feeling lucky, so I cast Prescience on the Deathstrike, just in case it fires. And I also cast Misfortune on these boys. I'm in decent range with my las guns in the building, so with rending, they can be pretty nasty. Let's go to the shooting phase. My Valkyrie opens up on these guys and blows them to pieces. It kills all but 3, and that's awesome. Then the las guns from the building open up on these guys, using the ignore cover order, and manages to wound the war boss, which is pretty nice. He failed his lookout sir on a rend, so can't argue with that. And then also I kill a couple of boys, and that's great. My executioner then opens up on the killer cans and manages to kill one of them and put another hull point in another. I think I also immobilized it, so that's pretty awesome. And then we go to here, the main event, the Deathstrike. I roll a 3+, it gets to fire, so I fire at these guys. And when the dust settles, a lot are dead. I think I kill about 13, which I'm quite happy with, considering they're fairly nasty against tanks. Plus, I managed to take a hull point off the Death Dread. I don't do anything but like shake it, I think. But nevertheless, I do take out a huge chunk of these guys that were going to be a big threat. I didn't have any decent fire arcs on them or anything, so these guys are removed, and that's just fantastic. There is some charging in the assault phase. I charged the truck with my scions. I got some crack grenades. Hopefully, going to strap some on there. Unfortunately, I only do a single hull point, so those guys are screwed. And then we do some pinning checks that we need to remember, and these guys are pinned. Poor. Who can blame them? Who can blame them? So we go to his turn, and his Blitzer Bomber doesn't show up, unfortunately, for him. But everything else moves forward. His Killer Cans, his Death Dread storm out. His Mega Knobs in the truck to the right-hand side you can't quite see. They jump out to assault the Scions, and they're doomed. And all the boys on the left-hand side run up to hopefully charge at the veterans there, and the war boss and his unit move through the 2 buildings, just sort of underneath the Valkyrie there. In his shooting phase, his combi scorchers open up on the Scions and kill, I think, all but 1. So they may have even killed all of them. I can't remember if they got into assault or not. Either way, they're all dead. Doesn't matter. Then over here, the boys and the war boss unit open up, and the shooter boys, open up on the veterans and are able to kill every last one of them. Now they don't have forewarning on them, they are a lot more squishy. But with no other charges, no other shooting that's in range or that did anything. I think he's killer cans shot at my big squad of in the ruins at the bottom, but I went to ground knowing that I can order them to get up next turn fairly easily, and that's fine. So we go into my turn, and there's some movement. My Vanquisher moves up to take a shot at the Death Dread. My Deathstrike, now that it's got no rocket, just kind of wiggles around a little bit. I've got a heavy flamer on it, so I might try and get that stuck in a little bit. My conscripts charge up towards the Warboss's unit. Going to try and get in there and tie them up for a bit, because I know they'll last a while with a priest in there. They're fearless. And then my executioner just lines up a bit of a better shot at either the killer cans, the squad of boys on the left, or the Warboss's unit, depending on what's the better target. In my psychic phase, I cast Forewarning on the conscripts, because when I get into combat, if I use the priest's ability for re-rolling any saves, 4-up invulnerable, re-rolling, it's not bad at tying things up. I also cast Misfortune on this unit again, because I really liked it last time, so give it a go. In the shooting phase, my Vanquisher takes my rocket launchers from my unit take some shots at this guy. I do manage to get the orders to get them up again, so that's fine. If I missile launch at this guy, hopefully I was hoping to free up my Vanquisher to take shots at the killer cans, but I don't finish this guy off. You just put him down to a single hull point, and that's all right. Then I put my Master of Ordnance down here, and in true Master of Ordnance fashion, he scatters right here. It's perfect. Slap bang on the centre of a bunch of orcs, and boom. Kills about 9 of them, including puts about 9 of them, and that's pretty spectacular. Not sad about that at all. Over here, my Scions, they've moved out of the Valkyrie. It went into hover mode. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. Melter guns at the killer cans, blew up one, and I think I stunned another. And that's pretty nice. Over here, my Vanquisher takes aim at the Death Dread, and blows it to smithereens, and that's fine. Over here, my Executioner opens up with these guys and kills all but this one guy. Then the platoon command squad uses the grenade launchers against it. It only takes a single wound off, so he's only got a single wound left now, and he runs away. And again, who could blame him? So we go to the combat phase, and rather than use my lasguns on these guys, I pile in. Who wants no stinking lasguns? I'm zombies, I can't use lasguns. Go in, kill the shit out of them. That's the plan. So he's got power claws on his knobs, and the only thing in there is normal boys, which is initiative 2, so I get to go first at initiative 3. And I managed to pull every orc down, and then the war boss. Yeah, obviously I had Misfortune on the unit, so I get rending against him. I've got a lot of attacks. I've got Hatred, so I'm re-rolling a lot. It was awesome. Yeah, brilliant. So happy about that. Zombies pull down his war boss. Nailed it. That isn't his warlord, though. His warlord is the big mech, so there's that. So that's all the charges, so we jump into his turn, and his reserves come on. And the first thing is he flies over the Valkyrie and drops a bomb on it. Now that it's in hover mode, that's a perfectly legitimate thing to do. And boom, he immobilizes it. So fortunately I was in hover mode, so I just crashed to the ground. But the blast also hit the unit of Scions and kills 8 of them. The only reason it didn't kill all 10 of them is I went to ground. I made 2 6-ups out of 10. He did 10 wounds to them. I made 2 6-ups. So, yeah, that was close. But blows the Valkyrie out of the air, kills a bunch of Scions. Not bad. Now I'm a bit concerned about how I'm going to kill that, because I've got no other anti-air upon my Valkyrie. So the rest of his turn, his truck on the right-hand side there moves up towards that building. Hopefully going to steam through that and jump out and kill some shit next turn. His tank busters move up towards to take some more shots at the Vanquisher. The killer cans keep moving forward. And that's about it. He's running out of stuff. So over here, his tank busters take some shots at the Vanquisher. but they only had about, I think there was only 2 of them in range, and it's the front armour, so they aren't able to do anything, and that's pretty happy about that. He also has a rocket on this truck, which takes a shot at the side armour of the Deathstrike and pings a hull point off it. Then the killer cans and this unit of shooter boys open up on the conscripts. They do kill a few, about 6 or 7. Again, forewarning does help me here, so that's nice. With that being everything he's got, and there's still no combats to get into, we go to my turn. My Deathstrike, because of shenanigans, decides to drive up in front of that truck to stop it getting through that hole, and that's yeah, it's being useful still. My Vanquisher moves over, slightly more out of range of the tank busters, also to take some shots at those killer cans, hopefully, and kill them this turn. My conscripts also move up to those shooter boys. I'm just going to charge in and try to take them out in combat. And I hatch a plan in my psychic phase. So, I cast Prescience on the big blob. Then I cast Misfortune on the Blitzer Bomber. Can you see where this is going? I then cast I use the order first rank fire, second rank fire on the big blob and shoot at the Blitzer Bomber. So I've got 72 shots here, lasgun shots, hitting on 6s but re-rolling with Prescience, and then any 6s will glance because they'll rend, again extra d3. After all that, so he does jink. After all, I get 2 pens and 2 glances. Unfortunately, he makes 1 jink for each, so I get a pen and a glance. The pen stuns it, or shakes it, and the glance just takes it up. So I don't kill it, but I was really pleased with that tactic. Cheeky. Then I also use the order to get these guys back up, so they jump up, and them to combine with the Vanquisher, we're able to destroy both remaining killer cans, and that's pretty awesome. So we go straight over to the combat phase, and the conscripts decide to charge these guys. So in they run. I'm able to drag a single one down just to get some room in so I can pile some more in. He's able to maybe kill 1 back. It doesn't matter too much, to be honest. They're zombies. And so I pile in like this, and yeah, that's going to be just a matter of time now. So we go into his turn. His Meganobs jump out of that truck on the right-hand side just to take out the Deathstrike. The tank busters move up forward. They did all manage to get into range of the Vanquisher, and I completely fluffed this a bit. They're able to get into the side armour of it, so that's a bit shitty. And then his Blitzer Bomber flies off. It's stunned. It can't do much this turn anyway, so that's fine. So yep, in the shooting phase, he's able to plink 2 hull points off the Vanquisher. So that thing's nearly dead now, and that's sad. Then we go to this. Then we go straight to combat. He's got no other shooting, so I get to go first. I drag another boy down. He maybe kills another conscript back, maybe not. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. And then he's easily able to flip over the Deathstrike here with all those Meganobs. That shouldn't have been too hard. So then we go to my turn, and we call it here. He's realised there's nothing he can do here. Maybe his Meganobs could get out of that building and tear through that unit of boys, but they'd have to get through the Executioner aiming at them and the Vanquisher aiming at them. Ultimately, they'd probably get dragged down through weight of numbers, so he wasn't going to have too much success. So, call it there, and that's the end of the game. And whoa, what a game! Massacre. Pretty heavy win for the Traitor Guard there, which I'm really happy about. It's been a rough few games, so it's nice to get a really solid victory in. It was a fun game, even though it was a bit one-sided from the start. That single Master of Ordnance shot at the start kind of could have made the game go completely the other way. If you got that battle wagon closer first turn, he would have had a much better time of it. So it was a bit of a mismatch from the start, but I still enjoyed it. I think he at least enjoyed the fact that I wasn't being a dick about it. Well, for all you know. So yeah, so that's the end of the game. Hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel, like the video, comment on it, leave suggestions or anything you'd like to see. Subscribe to or follow me on Twitter at @morewargames. And as always, stay tuned for more. Hammer.